Hello, this is Dan Fashionbauer from Video Pizzazz, and today I'm going to show you how to use the VLC Media Player to convert several different video file formats to a .webm format that can be played on an HTML5 video player on our website. First thing we need to do is bring up our VLC Media Player right here with the little top hat. So we'll double click on that, bring him up here. Now I'm starting out with a .avi file, and I will convert that to a .mp4, a .ogg, and a .webm file. And of those three formats, you should be able to play those on your website. The most common right now is the .webm file. Just come over here and we'll click on Media, Convert/Save, and it's going to ask us what file we want to use as our original file. So I'll click on Add, and I just created a WebM directory that my files are in. So I'm going to start out with this demo.avi. So I'll click on that, say Open. Then we'll click on Convert/Save, and you'll see here that the source file is my demo.avi, and we want to output that. And you do see that there's a couple different MP4 formats here, but we want the video H264 plus MP3 MP4. So we click that, which was the default anyway. And if you want to change or see any of the settings, you can click on this toolkit here, and then you can click on the video codec. Just make sure that it's set for H264, and then you can look at the resolution, filters. You can also click on the audio codec, see what that's set for, and you can change them if you want. You can change the bit rate, you can change the codec, but I'll just click on cancel there. Then you have to put in a destination file, so I'll click on browse, and I'm going to use the same WebM directory. The important thing here is to name it the format that you want it to be output as. So I'm going to call this the demo.mp4. Click on save, and then you put it in right down here. So here's my input file, demo.avi. Here's my output file, demo.mp4. Click on start, and you can see it processing down here at the bottom bar. When that bar reaches the end, it's done. So I can go into my WebM directory again, and I'll now see the original at demo.avi and now a new file, demo.mp4. All right, now let's see if the MP4 plays. That looks good. So now I'll create a .ogg file, and in this case, instead of starting with the AVI file, I'll just start with MP4. You could start with either one of them, it doesn't matter. So I'll just click here, Media, Convert/Save, and instead of the AVI file, I'm going to start out with the MP4 file this time. Just going to click here and remove that. Then I'll click on Convert/Save, and then here for the OGG file, I want to use the pull down, and I want to click on Video Theora Vorbis OGG. Select that, and then you can check a destination file here. So browse, and again use the proper extension. So I'm going to use demo.ogg. Click on save. All right, so our input is MP4, our output is OGG. Again, you can click on the toolkit. You can view the video codec and audio codec and see if it's what you want, or you can modify it if you'd like. I'm just going to leave it as the default. Cancel, click on start. So that should be done. So now you'll see that there's a demo.ogg, and this format can only be played right now with the VLC Media Player. So if I double click here, it'll bring up the VLC Media Player and play it. All right, so that plays too. So the last thing we're going to do is create a .webm file. So we'll come back over here to VLC Media Player, click on Media, click on Convert/Save, and I'm going to start out with the MP4 file again. So I'll just click on Convert/Save here, and then I'm going to pick the WebM file here, which is the video VP80 plus Vorbis WebM. So I'll select that as my output, and then I'll click on Browse, and I'll call this Demo WebM. Click on Save, and again you can look at the WebM settings. Click here, click on Video Codec, click on Audio Codec. Again, I'm just going to leave it as the default. Click on Start. You can see the blue line processing at the bottom down here. Taking a little bit longer because it's really going to compress the file. Alright, so that took several minutes to complete, but it's done. Okay, so now I have the original AVI file, I have an MP4 file, I have an OGG file, and I have a WebM file. I created this README text. So here's some HTML code that you could use to play these different videos. So for instance, here I put the video controls. That'll put a player bar underneath the video player. And you can put these guys in order that you want to search for the different video formats. So the first thing it'll do, it'll search for an MP4. And if it finds it, it'll play it if it can play that format. If not, it'll go to the next step and it'll find the WebM file format and play that. And if it can't play that, it'll go and play the OGG file format. So this is just one example of how you could set up your HTML code to play the videos. And so what I did is I saved this file here to an index.html, which is right here. So if I double click on that and bring that up, you can see here that it's pointing to my local documents WebM directory index.html, and it put a video player down here at the bottom. So if I click on play, it does play. So that worked out great. So that's how you would use the VLC Media Player to convert video file formats to different formats. In this case, the one that I would be looking at would be the .webm format for playing on a HTML5 player. And another thing you can look at is, if you look at the AVI file, the initial file size was 1.7 megabytes. If I go to the MP4, it's 7.24 megabytes. If I go to the OGG file, it's 0.98 megabytes. And if I go to the WebM file, it's 0.98 megabytes. So the OGG and WebM file formats compress the file the most. The OGG file format is used for the older browser types. The WebM file format is used for the newer HTML5 format. So I'm assuming that you're going to want to use the WebM file format, and that got compressed from an MP4 file format of 7.24 megabytes down to 0.98 megabytes. So it's much smaller to be played on an HTML5 player. So I hope you found that useful, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.